So yesterday marked the October surprise that was predicted by several pundits, particularly on Fox. At least that was the network I watched, where there was a release of audio Trump recorded with Billy Bush back in 2005, in which he was talking about. I don't even want to repeat it. Just sexual discussion. Let's put it that way. um, the type of talk that you'd hear at a bar or among a couple of guys. Now, some of his phrases might have rubbed people the wrong way, talking about grabbing a woman by her vagina. But nonetheless, it was a discussion that was in private, that was caught on a hot mic, um, and that's that. Now, I heard the tape, and other people have heard the tape. You've had there's been a lot of variety in just the reactions to it. You've had McCain, who endorsed him, say that he is withdrawing his endorsement. You had Huntsman, the former presidential candidate from last election cycle, say that Trump should drop out. Which, why would you drop out the month before? You've gotten this far, you might as well see it through. Bachmann, also a 2012 presidential candidate on the Republican side, stated that she believes Clinton had something to do with this tape coming out. Trump issued an apology last night, and after making the apology, indicated that Clinton and her husband had done worse, or things that are also bad, and he stated that he will discuss it more in the upcoming days. I laugh so hard because I know he's going to bring it up, or it's going to be brought up at the debate. So that's most likely what he's referring to. At least that's what my opinion is of what he's referring to. I don't know. I could be surprised, but I really have a good feeling that he's talking about the debate tomorrow. So a couple of things here. Um, there is a worry on within the party right now, Republican Party, that this will affect him negatively, and it has. And this will, mess up his chances of winning the presidency. And I am of the conviction that the worst, realistically, that it can do, because it's possible for it to do any other things, but most likely it's going to put off a couple of the independents. I don't see a giant portion of his base, or even any of it, as has been proven with the other controversies, leaving him. And you've had the putting Graham's phone number out last year. I still can't get over that. Talking about Cruz's wife, something else. I mean, he's had his bouts of controversy before, and they've been through this year and last year in the primary. And so what we saw during all of those different times and trials, during the great Trump saga, as I've been calling it, um, you know, nothing phases his fans. And they're not going to just be put off by some new, revelation. And I'm kind of bothered by the idea that whoever put this out was expecting, this great uproar, because this is a tape that, and I get it, he was still not young necessarily, but it was 10 years ago. He didn't think he'd be running for president. And matter of fact, presidency, in my view, my assessment of, because you have to remember he ran in 2000. I think he figured that was long behind him. Can live out the rest of my days, whatever. Uh, this tape, to kind of give you an idea of how old this is. I am currently in college. That tape came out when I was in second grade. That was recorded when I was in second grade, 2005. Um, or first, most likely second. I got my years a little mixed up. Um, depends what month. Bush was, president at that point. The 2004, basically Kerry and Bush had just, had their election at that point. I mean, it's not new in any sense of the word. And you know, listening to it, I didn't get offended at all, and I know what the perception will be. Oh, well, you're a man, you're a guy, you shouldn't be bothered by that type of talk. But I'm saying that as someone who generally avoids sexual discussion as far as just in a group of guys. As one Fox commentator I heard said, it was boys on the bus, and I never really partake in that type of talk with other males, because it just, I don't know, it's just the phrasing of it. If I see some woman that's attractive, I'll say, oh, I like her because of this or this and that. But as far as like talking about grabbing a vagina, it's so goofy, and you know, I get it, the whole point of putting it out is to show his character is not to the level that he wants us to perceive. But you have to keep in mind, Clinton all last year was getting called a liar, and they played on Fox clips of her saying one thing and saying the other. Distinctively, the gay marriage thing, her in 2004 going up and saying, "Yeah, defense of marriage, yeah," and then 2013, "Well, I'd like to renounce my support of, couples of opposite sexes being the only ones who can marry." That she completely, did a 360, and that was for political expediency. But the point is, this is not new. These characteristics of, you know, being one way in the public, being one way in the other way, direction, is not new in any way. And I wish they could have found something recent for me to really be assessed by. And like I've said before, just in case no one's seen my other stuff, I am by no means some guy for Trump. I really, he has policies that I don't agree with. You know, ranging from the Muslim ban to, I guess, the kind of hawkish stand, not hawkish, but I don't know what you would call it. I have opposition to illegal immigrants too, but we have different methods of how we would deal with it. The point is, I'm not in his field, and I recognize this is something that doesn't change my opinion. I'm focused more on substance. The personal character thing, that is nothing for Clinton to use to her advantage. And the only reason her campaign even thinks that's a good idea is because they know when she goes up in the public, she'll go and answer questions, go, "Oh yes, well I personally believe that this endeavor is actually," speaking in a very professional manner. Off the cuff is typically done eloquently, and that there's nothing necessarily wrong with that per se. But when you have people talking about you're not human and they can't relate to you and they don't feel as if they know you, that is a direct result of talking that way. Let me put this way: I would rather know Trump than to not know Clinton. Essentially, when he speaks, I believe him. As far as, I don't like this person, this is what I think of this. It feels genuine. With Clinton, it's just, let me pander, let me make you think this. And I know that might sound as if it's getting off topic and delving into her, but I'm just saying there is no reason to go after him about character when he's running against her. That is the last person in the world anybody should be trying to say that he's supposedly worse than, as far as his um, personal persona, public persona is displayed. And this is a matter of privacy. If he went out, I guess I'd be more bothered if, I know it was on a hot mic, but let's say he were giving a press conference and then he started talking about grabbing a vagina. Okay, you have a legitimate point there. Why is that even being brought up here? That has nothing to do with the conversation. But when you have Clinton talking about being a grandmother over and over again, and my daughter's wedding, when we're talking about emails, there's no reason to bring that stuff up. And it just, you can't paint him as being bad for talking about his own personal life privately aboard, and being caught on a hot mic, which I'm sure he was unaware of, and then say that she is in the right or okay whenever she brings up members of her family during a debate, during a speech, during a press conference. It doesn't work that way. And I'm not going to let them sit over here and convince me that, he's the worst guy in the world, all because he decided to have a private conversation among other men. For all we know, he could have been lying. Guys lie all the time about what their successes are with women. That's commonplace. So I don't want to hear it. I don't think it's going to impact his supporters. I don't think it's going to impact the outcome of the election in a meaningful way, and I certainly don't think it's going to impact me. I know it won't. So thank you for watching and have a good day.